Welcome everybody to the Global Payments Summit community and today's spotlight on Europe. My name is Gonzalo Santamaria, Vice President at Currency Research for our payments division, and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you here. For those who have sat in on some of our sessions in the past, you probably know that what we've been trying to do obviously is maintain the community connected through some of our initiatives within content distribution, knowledge base, and really to maintain that connectivity within the community so that we can drive that sense of knowledge sharing across the globe, and especially within some certain initiatives. So today, we thought we would focus on something that has been very relevant for some time now, and we'll be starting with a keynote from the European Commission on their retail payment strategy. And then it will be followed by a very brief break and then a panel discussion with the EPI, the European Payments Initiative, which has been driven by the private sector, the commercial banks for the most part, and really looking at to see, the foundational principles of both RPS and also the EPI objectives and how they mold together. So this session is for all of you, so please be proactive. You can ask questions in the private chat area. We welcome everybody who is in the GPS community, and also to our latest and newest channel, which we've opened now on YouTube. So we should have some viewers on YouTube as well today. So again, thanks to everybody for joining us. And with that, I think I'll introduce our keynote speaker. So Eric Ducoulombier, who is the head of the retail and payments unit at DG FISMA. He's been there now at that position for a little over 2 years. But he's been with the Commission since 1992 in various roles. So, Eric, thank you, welcome, and the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, Gonzalo, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm absolutely delighted to be with you today. I'm going to present to you our retail payment strategy, which we adopted a few months ago in September 2020, and which is I would say, the blueprint or the roadmap from the Commission for the years to come about payments. So if you can, Tony, move to the next and first slide. So you may wonder why suddenly the Commission deemed it necessary to come up with a strategy for payments. Clearly, until not so long ago, payments were not very strategic. At least they were not regarded as being strategic. It was mainly a matter of infrastructures, of pipes, and there were a few experts and specialists, but no one in the Commission would consider it necessary to come up with a 25-page long strategy on that. So what happened in the meantime? Well, in the meantime, it is clear to us, but not only to us, that payments have indeed become strategic. They have become critical for the economy. It has indeed struck everyone that in this unstable geopolitical environment in which we all live, whoever controls payment systems, payment infrastructures, has a fair chance of controlling the economy of a state, of a region, of a country. So, and that especially with the increasingly digital nature of payments. Payments, by becoming more digital, have also become more vulnerable in a way. So that's, if you want, why all of a sudden payment made it to the top of the agenda, and made us believe that a strategy was indispensable. So payments are also undergoing a deep transformation. Everyone can see that. Payments people are making today are definitely not those people were making a few years ago, a decade ago. Things are changing at a very high pace, and it's probably in payments that you can see the manifestation, the most obvious manifestations of this highly digital world we are living in, and COVID-19 obviously has accelerated all this digital transformation. This is really something which one can watch, one can observe in the past year or 2 years. Another obvious thing that we observed in the Commission is the absence of real big pan-European champions in payments, at least on the front end, on the end user side of the payment ecosystem. And it is fair to say, and no offense to them at all, but it's fair to say that today the only fully pan-European payment stakeholders that exist are global players whose centers of decision are not necessarily in Europe, but probably on the other side of the Atlantic. So this simple observation in itself could be a reason for Europe to step up and to impose itself in the field of payments. What we have also observed is the fact that our retail payment landscape is fragmented. We have quite a lot of successful end-user payment solutions in Europe, and some of them are extremely innovative, modern, recent, but many of them are only to be used in one country. They don't cross borders, and that's in a way unfortunate. We have a single currency, but we don't have payment solution that cross borders. And if we do, it is with the help of the global players that I just mentioned. So that in itself is, it's not a fully satisfactory situation. So all this to say, we thought, and I think we were right, because since we did, we've really triggered huge reflections and discussions about payments. So we thought we needed to develop a vision, a genuine blueprint, as I wrote here, for EU payments. It's not the first time that the EU deals with payments. We've had, in fact, many initiatives on payment for about 20 years. Some of them are already known: PSD1, PSD2, e-money directive, cross-border payment regulation. But what is fair to say is that there was no overarching vision of all these initiatives. They've all been successful, I think, but none of them was really part of a clear target, of a clear goal, written black and white, and that was why we came up with this strategy a few months ago. So can you then move to the next slide, please? So what is this vision I just mentioned? Well, four main elements of vision. We would ideally like to see emerging payment solutions which are diverse, high quality, homegrown, pan-European. I think all these adjectives speak for themselves. And when I say homegrown, I mean EU grown ideally. Although this is not at all a protectionist vision. On the contrary, I mean, Europe is an open economy, open market. Everyone is welcome to compete on European soil, if you want. But that is not a reason not to expect and even to wish the emergence of European actors to compete with the ones, both the incumbent ones already on the market and the ones coming in the EU market. And you have seen certainly in the recent past arriving completely new players in the field of payments. The GAFAs and their Chinese Asian equivalent have indeed taken a keen interest in payments. And again, everyone's welcome as long as people play by the rules. But we would like to have really European strong companies to compete with these companies, and then of course let the market decide. But this is what is meant here by this first vision element. The second element is competition and innovation. This is, I mean, essential, of course, that we want the EU market to be competitive, but also innovative. We want Europe to continue being at the forefront of innovation in payments. I mean, what is not always known is that many important innovations have emerged from Europe in payments. Take the chip, which can be found in millions of cards. Well, it was initially a European idea and innovation. So we have already quite innovative players, but we want our market to be really at the forefront of innovation. And this is really why we've put competition and innovation as key drivers of our vision. We also need and want to see infrastructures. I mean, payments, everyone knows they move on rails. It's a bit like cars or trains. They move on rails. These rails are the infrastructures. One cannot see them, but they are there. And without them, payments cannot be executed, be cleared, be settled. They cannot circulate. So, and this is very important. And again, two important adjectives here: efficient and accessible. And when I mean accessible, when the Commission means accessible, it means that everyone should have an equal access to these infrastructures, which until now are largely left or reserved for some of the payment stakeholders. And we would believe it indispensable that every payment stakeholder would have the possibility to have a direct access to these infrastructures. That's only fair to ensure this competitive market that is mentioned just above. And lastly, payments. The EU is, of course, our main focus. It's our raison d'être, but payments go far beyond the EU, and we would really like the EU to contribute to improving cross-border international payments, not only within the member states of the EU, but also with the rest of the world. And we believe we've got very good examples to share. We have our SEPA area, and one idea would have to be would be to have equivalents of SEPA areas outside, elsewhere in the world, so that we could connect, if you want, our various areas for cross-border payments, where payments would be equally efficient, equally cheap, equally fast. So that is really part of our vision. So we do not want our vision to be limited to the EU. The next slide, please. So our strategy is based on 4 pillars: solutions, markets, infrastructures, and international. You may have already sensed that from the vision that I just outlined. So these are, the 4 pillars on which we have built this comprehensive strategy. So we can already move to the next slide, which will present our action for the first pillar. There we go. So you can see here a series of initiatives, of actions that we would like to see emerge. I'm not saying tomorrow, but I mean in the next years to come. So no need for me to go in depth into each of them. It would take us too much time, but look at this: instant payment as the new normal. That's really something we would like to see. You know, everything is instant. Sending mails is instant. Messages can cross the world in a few seconds. Why not payments? Why not payments? Why should there be still a day or more to execute a payment? So instant payment has already emerged in many of our jurisdictions and also in the world, and we believe it is an innovation and also an element of competition, which we would really like to promote. The second thing is, as I said before, we would like to see emerging payment solutions that work cross-border, and we are going to have a session in about 45 minutes with the European Payments Initiative, which is certainly one of these payment solutions that work cross-border. At least that's the intentions that they have expressed when setting up EPI. So obviously that goes, in our view, in the right direction. We would also like to have e-identification solutions for payments, for onboarding customers. We believe it is, if we want to have cross-border payments, people must be able to prove, to authenticate who they are before being able to seek and receive payments. And that is a very important thing. They are already quite efficient national solutions, but as always, we have very efficient solutions, but they are mostly national. So here we would like to see something emerge on a kind of EU-wide basis. Broad acceptance network for digital payments. This is more for merchants. We would really like merchants throughout the EU to be much more able to receive digital payments, to be really equipped with all the necessary IT, softwares, technology, in order for them to accept digital payments. And that's really something that we would like to do much more work about. Cash, it may surprise you because I've been using the word digital quite a few times already, but we all know that cash is still very popular in the EU. It is still the preferred means of payment by many. In fact, it's the majority that would mention cash as their favorite means of payment. So cash, although it is slowly but surely in a phase-out process, and probably the COVID-19 will accelerate that. But as long as cash is there, we would really like cash to be available and to be accessible and to be usable. I mean, people should be able to pay in cash and not only be obliged, to pay with digital solutions that they might not be familiar with. Not everyone is digital savvy in this world, and that has to be respected. And last but not least, and this is very much linked to cash, work with the ECB on a possible digital euro. Next slide, please. Yes, we would very much like to see a level playing field between the players in the market. This is a slide about markets. We believe there should be a level playing field. There should be the full application of same business, same risks, same rules. If anyone, because we are a very competitive market, an open market, if any company wishes to compete on the European payments market, then of course there must be a level playing field. That's only normal. That's the very basis for a fair competition. We also are going to explore to what extent our PSD2, which is a bit our flagship in the payment legislation. We would like to see when it is reviewed and possibly revised. We'd like to explore to what extent we could merge it with the e-money legal framework that exists in the EU, and maybe there is a good moment has arrived to streamline that. Open banking, it's something that is already in place in the EU, but we really want it to be fully deployed, to yield all its potential, and who knows, maybe explore possibilities of going beyond open banking. I mean, business models based on data, access to data, are now flourishing, but they are based on the access to data on some accounts, but not on all accounts that exist, and not on all bank accounts or savings accounts or insurance accounts. So who knows, there might be merits in exploring the possibility and the pros and cons of going beyond that. Some jurisdictions in the world are already exactly exploring that as well, and maybe implementing some ideas. Although we were in the EU the pioneers worldwide with PSD2 in open banking, but now it's maybe not for today or tomorrow, but soon I think the question will arise as to whether or not to go beyond. And consumers protection, I mean, this cuts across all our initiatives. Consumers are the lifeline of payments. Without confident consumers, there can be no robust and trustworthy payment system. So we want customers and consumers to feel protected when using any payment solution in the EU. We also want to have, and that's linked with protection, we want to have the highest security standards for our payments in the EU to prevent fraud. I mean, the more payments are becoming digital, the more they are maybe exposed to fraudsters and risks of abuse. So we want, of course, to remain fully committed to protecting our systems, our payment system against fraud. That's an essential question of trust and confidence. We've got already strong customer authentication in the EU, and let's see whether we need to reinforce this arsenal of tools that we have. Please, next slide, third pillar. Infrastructures, this is a shorter pillar. So we would like the infrastructures to be interoperable. There are quite a number of infrastructures for payments in the EU. Some of them are purely domestic, some are regional, some are international, European. And it is indispensable, if you think about cross-border payments, that all these infrastructures, all these rails can connect with each other. It's like trains again. If you want to cross a border with a train, you'd better be sure that the rails will be compatible, will be of the same breadth and format. So that's what we mean here with rendering our infrastructures interoperable, so that they can talk to each other and payments can be processed, even if they use several infrastructures. We want, as I said before, I think, our infrastructures to be accessible by payment institutions and e-money institutions, which so far cannot have a direct access. They need to have access via a credit institution, and that is the situation that derives from an EU directive, which was adopted before e-money institutions and payment institutions existed. So now it might be time to adjust that, and we have a running consultation, public consultation on this, not only on this issue, but with a view to reviewing the directive that actually contains that rule. Last, we want the technical infrastructures to be also open and accessible to all. This is again a question of innovation. It's again a question of transparency. And I've given an example here with NFC infrastructures. We believe that they should be accessible, and they should be open and not limited to I would say, proprietary usage. So that's what is meant here, and we'll see how we get there. We've got currently a big proposed act called the Digital Markets Act, where there are a few provisions precisely to address this concern. Last pillar and last slide, I'm saying that for the organizers to watch the time. So as I said before, we would like to improve the international payments. We would like to link the various payment systems together. We would like that transparency be enhanced. If you want to bring down the costs of cross-border international payments, having basic transparency can be a very powerful tool indeed. And we know that when there is transparency, when real costs are clearly revealed, well, it is often the case that suddenly costs may be brought down. We also would like to promote, support the global messaging standards. We would also like our EU SEPA schemes to be also used beyond our borders. I mean, they are excellent schemes. They are really our DNA in the EU with our direct debit, with our credit transfer schemes, and having similar things outside the EU would be indeed, we believe, a very good outcome. And remittances, everyone knows the importance of remittances for many countries in the world, and everyone unfortunately knows the price of remittances, and this is far too high. And again, it's I mentioned costs before. So one aspect of our policy, and mostly of our neighborhood and development policy, is to try to bring down the price of remittances, and we are working on that with international organizations, G20, FSB, CPMI. We're trying to see how things can be improved there. So all this to say, we're not only looking at our EU market, we are looking also beyond and see whether we can, what we can do and what we know about payments can be perhaps exported outside our borders. So I will stop here. I think it's my last slide, if I remember correctly. Maybe Tony, can you move to the next one? And I don't think there is Yeah, indeed. So I'm now finished with my presentation. So thank you very much. I'm giving back the floor to you, Gonzalo.
Yes, thank you, Eric. Very interesting. So we were hoping to have some time for Q&A, and unfortunately we've run out. But several comments have been posted, and I thought maybe you could just comment, because some of them obviously are to do with the Commission's viewpoint on how they're aligning perhaps with CBDC, where Madame Lagarde has discussed and talked about what the CBDC a digital euro might look like in several years. There's some questions that have come up on cash. And from the perspective, if you will, of a general, and at least from our part, from currency research, we feel that as a viable option, all payment means should be made available to all citizens. So it's not about perhaps which one should be prevalent over another. It's about choice, and it's about access, and it's about what we will be looking at very closely in the future, a universal access to payments, all payments. That means they should all be available. What's the Commission's view on that?
Well, these could be my words. I mean, we want. I think it was in our first element of vision, diversified payment solutions. You are right. People should be offered the broadest possible range of payment solutions to cater for their different needs.
Exactly.
But this is obviously up to the market to decide that. I mean, we cannot tell to the market, you have to offer A, B, C means of payment solutions. Our role is rather to create an environment, a landscape, political but also legal landscape, which is conducive to the emergence in the EU of profitable, competing, innovative payment solutions for very different situations in life. Not everyone wants to pay all the time with cash, or not everyone wants to pay all the time with payments.
Convenience, innovation, I mean, cost factors, they all factor in. And again, it boils down to a little bit of choice. So thank you very much for that, Eric. For everyone who missed the introduction, I think we had a technical problem with the introduction, but we have a short break now, a short tea break, and in approximately 13 minutes, we'll be having a panel discussion where Eric will also join, and it will be moderated by Gijs Boudjouin, who is the General Manager for Dutch Payments Association, and who also sits on the GPS Communities Advisory Panel, and he's kindly volunteered to moderate a panel. So we'll have the EPI represented, a bank, and a competitive authority. So tune in about 12 minutes and listen into a very interesting panel discussion with all the persons I've just mentioned. Thank you, everybody, and thank you again, Eric, for a very interesting intro to our discussion now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. See you in a moment.
Together, we are at the heart of the global financial system. We move the transactions that keep the world's economies working. Transactions that represent real business ambitions and the livelihoods of our friends and family. What we do underpins the world's way of life. Today, that way of life is changing faster than ever. At SWIFT, we are evolving too. We use our expertise to help our community move faster and work smarter. Payments and securities transactions should be instant, frictionless, and transparent. They should have end-to-end integrity and global reach. This entire process should be driven by smart data and shared services to unlock huge opportunities, to help you strengthen in existing markets and open bold new possibilities for the future. We've laid the foundations through game-changing services and technologies that are already transforming the industry. Now, we're going even further, taking innovation to the next level by transforming the SWIFT platform with new capabilities so you can reduce costs and offer increased value to your customers. We are delivering the infrastructure to help you adapt, thrive, and grow, and together, shaping the future of payments and securities faster, smarter, better.